there are two types of questions on this quiz. There's a multiple choice question. That's a question where you get the question and it says, which one's the best, A, B, C, or D, right? We know how to do that. Eliminate the worst answers, find the best answer, put that in there. But the second one is what's called a short answer response. And that's where you actually are going to have to type into a box your words, right? So they're looking for four things. They're looking for, all right, so they're looking for four sentences, right? The very first sentence, and all you have to do is put this inside this box. That's why I gave you the sheets. So the first thing you do is you restate the question, or you put the question in your own words, and you include the text title, okay? So if the question is like, what is the theme of the story? You can say, what is the theme inside, and then whatever the name of the story is, right? That's all you have to do here. That's it. You're just restating the question, just so I know that you know what you're going to answer. The next thing you have to do is you have to answer the question, right? Oh, the theme of the story is about forgiveness. Okay, great. Scroll up a little bit. But just like any time, the other way, sorry, down. Keep going, right there. So just like any other time, when you give an answer, you have to have proof for your answer, right? So where you get proof is where you put C, that's cite, in the text it says, or in the story it says, and then you actually pull words from the story to show how you got your answer, right? So if I said, oh, the poem is about forgiveness, right? I'm gonna go, in the poem it says, and then I'm gonna pull a line from the poem that actually says something about forgiveness, right? And go down here for a second. And then the last thing you have to do is you have to explain. Why did you pull those words that you pulled? Why did you pick those words, you know? This shows that, you know, it's better to forgive, or this shows that once he forgives, he feels better, right? So all you have to do is you have to restate the question, answer the question, provide proof for your answer, and then explain your proof. That's a poem called My Papa's Waltz. I'm going to read it real fast, and then I'm going to go through the question, and then I'm going to do the race, okay? Then you're done. So it's called My Papa's Waltz by Theodore Rothke. It says, the whiskey on your breath could make a small boy dizzy, but I hung on like death. Such waltzing was not easy. First off, as I'm going through this, I'm going to think to myself, what is he talking about? If somebody has whiskey on their breath, what does that mean?
They drank.
They've been drinking, right? So he's been drinking, and he says just the smell of it could make a small boy dizzy. He drank a lot, right? Because he could smell it. You ever been around somebody who's really drunk and you could just kind of see it and smell it coming off of them, right? And he says, but I hung on like death. Such waltzing was not easy. First of all, you have to know what waltzing is. Waltzing is dancing, right? But they're not really dancing here, right? If he's drunk and a little kid is holding on to him, maybe it looks like they're dancing, but maybe the kid is holding him up. Or maybe they're fighting. Something, right? We know something's going on. We romped until the pan slid from the kitchen shelf. My mother's countenance could not unfrown itself. Okay, so they're romping is to like play, right? So they're kind of moving around and they're kind of bumping into stuff and the pans are falling down. And countenance is like your facial expression. So his mom's facial expression could not unfrown itself. Is she happy? No, right? But we don't know if she's happy, not happy because the son is holding him up. We don't know if she's not happy because they're fighting. We don't know yet.
Drunk.
Huh?
Or because he's drunk.
Or because he's drunk, right? And maybe she's tired of him coming home drunk. Okay, the hand that held my wrist was battered on one knuckle. At every step you missed, my right ear scraped a buckle. So the hand that held my wrist was battered on one knuckle. So his hand, he's holding the kid's hand, and his knuckle was like messed up. The other day, one of my kids came in and he was like, man, I gotta go to the hospital. I got into a fight and I hurt my hand, right? This is your knuckle. If your knuckles are scraped up or if they're hurt, it means maybe you're into violence. Maybe you hit your hand doing stuff, or maybe you work hard with your hands, right? At every step you miss, my right ear scraped a buckle. So like when he kind of falls down, he kind of leans on the kid. So we know the kid is little, okay? You go. You beat time on my head with a palm caked hard by dirt, then waltzed me off to bed, still clinging to your shirt. All right, there's a play here, like when you keep time, right? When he's beating time on his head, right? So maybe he's actually hitting him. Maybe he's actually abusing him, right? With palm caked hard by dirt, he works with his hands. He's a worker, right? Then walks me off to bed, still clinging to his shirt, and then he just takes him to bed. All right. So then the question comes, go down. What is happening in this poem? That's so I'm going to restate the question. It said, what is happening in the poem? So I would say, what is happening? And this is the person who wrote it, Rothke's. And then I'm going to put quotations around it because that's the name of it. My Papa Waltz. That's all I'm doing. I'm just restating the question, right? And I'm putting the name of the text, okay? The next thing says, answer the question. In the poem, and this is just my opinion, in the poem, the kid is helping his drunk father get home, or his drunk father stand up. That's what I think is happening. Okay, I don't think that there's child abuse, but you might think that there is, right? So now I'm going to give you proof. In the poem, it says, and then I'm going to put quotation marks because I'm going to take words directly from the poem. The whiskey on your breath could make a small boy dizzy, but I hung on like that, still watching was not easy. I'm going to use that whole first stanza, right? The whiskey on your breath, and then such waltzing was not easy. Okay, click back to the other one. Now I'm going to teach you a quick trick. Instead of you writing that whole first stanza, just write the first few words. The whiskey on your breath. Okay? And then you're going to put dot, dot, dot. We call that an ellipsis. No. I'm just giving you this as an example.
Can't you do like line 5 to like 10?
Oh yeah, you could say line 5 through like 10, but then like if I'm grading it, then that means I have to go look at the poem and I have to look at line 5 through 10, you know, it's kind of a pain. So if you just put the whiskey on your breath, dot, 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 such waltzing was not easy. Okay, so good. So now I have RAC. Now all I have to do is explain why I picked that C, that quote. And I'm going to tell you right now, the fact that the waltzing, when he said, this shows that when they are waltzing, he is really holding his drunk father from fall. And that's it. That's it. So now I've told you, hey, this is this poem, and this is what they're doing. It's about a kid who's taking care of his dad when he comes home drunk. I use the quotes from the word, and then I even explained why I use that quote. That's it. That's all you have to do.